every effort we can. But I can assure you, as long as Russia and China continue to veto resolutions in the UN is not going to be the place where we can bring those pressures to bear. But your sentiment is I think, right on. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Senator McCain, and thanks to everyone who's here. Thank you for the veterans who are also in the room. But as we're talking about Syria, you know, I start to think about all the families and the individuals who are really affected. So I just ask that you join myself, and also that the rest of the room also joins us in prayer for the innocent families who are being affected by the wars on both ends, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But I also think that, you know, I heard someone mention about, you know, domestic policies. You know, we do have a lot of domestic policies that we need to worry about here. And the young lady in the front, the green, also mentioned about polling, and I'm thinking about, you know, what are some top domestic issues? Budget is one. Immigration reform is another. And we saw poll after poll that up to 90% of Americans know that something needs to get done with their immigration reform. So I asked, you know, what do we need to do to make sure that, at least, you know, for the Arizona delegation, how do we move our 4 congressional delegates who are dragging their feet on dealing with this domestic issue? Because domestic issues are important, and so are foreign relations.
Thank you. And by the way, could I mention we have representatives of our hearing and visual impaired community here today, and I want to thank all of you for coming. Thank you very much for taking part in this town hall. Thank you. And if you have a question or comment, just raise your hand. All right, so let me just finish. The issue of immigration reform is something that we need to address. I think that all of us would agree on one thing, and that is the status quo is not acceptable. That's 11 million people in our country illegally. We're not going to round them up and deport them, so we need to address the issue. So we're asking our Republican and Democrat friends that if we could sit down together, pass legislation in the House, have a conference, and get a bill to the President's desk to resolve this issue. And I know that there's very passionate views on this issue, but I don't think it's going away, which argues then for us to sit down together and hear everyone's views and address it. Could I ask this man right here? Yes, sir.
Well, since we are switching a little bit to domestic issues, I have a question because you used to sit on the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, and that committee recently, that's why I said you used to, and that committee recently favorably recommended the passage of the reauthorization of the Workforce Reinvestment Act, or Workforce Investment Act, which contains language that authorizes the payment of sub-minimum wages to individuals with disabilities. And it also has language moving the Rehabilitation Services Administration from the Department of Education to the Department of Labor, which further separates it from the special education function of the Department of Education. And one, we're asking that you not support that when it comes to vote on the Senate floor, which we understand is going to come to vote shortly after you return from the recess. Well, that's what we're kind of hoping, that that it does get delayed, and that there's a chance for amendments that would change Section 511, which is the section that has the language authorizing the payment of the sub-minimum wages, which sort of ties it into Section 14C of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which we at the National Federation of the Blind have been challenging for quite a few years, and we were hoping that we could get your support and get your thoughts and comments on that.
Thank you, sir. You're the best informed attendant at the town hall meeting that I've had. I would be glad to examine it. I don't think it's coming to the floor because we're going to be consumed by this issue that we're discussing today, and also then there's the debt limit, which will then cause another reason for the approval rating of Congress to dip even further if that's possible. We're down to paid staff and blood relatives now. But I would be glad to look at it, I'd be glad to hear from you on it. And the National Federation for the Blind is a very important organization. Is that a lab? Is that a lab? Lab? She's beautiful, you should see it. Labs are the only love that money can buy, and it's a beautiful dog. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Come on back over.
First of all, thank you very much, Senator. And excuse me, please, because my first language is Spanish. I came to this country legally. I have earned my citizenship. Something that I treasure. I am not a Hispanic American. I am an American when I took that oath. I've been married for a long, long time. My husband, a fighter pilot, pt2. I know what is in the military, that who goes first. Now, going and getting into another war is unacceptable.
Exactly.
We can't fight wars everywhere. We cannot be the police anymore. We can't. And for me, you know, for Obama to give citizenships and illegal aliens, they're not illegal immigrants. I was an immigrant, and I have earned my citizenship. To give it away, it's a travesty.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. I hope that I could get the information concerning this proposed legislation. It's a legal status and then 10 years before a green card, thousands of dollars in fees, pay back taxes, learn English, get to the back of the line behind everybody else. Those are very tough provisions in this legislation. So, again, and so if I could just say, if you have a better idea of how to address the 11 million people who are in this country illegally, I would be more than happy.
I think I have the best idea. Create a stimulus
You haven't given me an answer. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
package and give $2,000 reward for turning in illegal.
Yes, my name is Tarif Jabir. I'm originally from Syria. I came to this country in 1980. And I see a lot of dialogue here, and I can tell you that this is something people in Syria don't enjoy. There's a dialogue between Senator McCain and the people. And that's something we here take for granted. If you do this in Syria, you'll be shocked, you'll be executed. One thing I want to tell you, I came from outside. I came in 1980. I worked hard. I have 2 kids going to the University of Arizona. We value our freedom. I know it. You guys take it for granted. When I mean you guys, I mean the people who are born here don't understand this freedom. And going to war, I'm against war. However, we got to remember what happened when you get a tyrant, non-stoppable. We all know what Hitler did. A lot of Jews died. There's a line in the sand that is drawn. And that is when you see a tyrant going beyond. The freedom that we are enjoying has a price. Let's not be mistaken about it. There's a price for it. Again, I'm against war, but we're not talking about war. We're talking about a dictator who displaced 7 million, a third of the country. Imagine you have 130 million people in the United States have no home. Just imagine that for a second. Let me finish. I respect. Let me finish. So what I'm saying is,
More than that will be in place, mark my words.
what I'm saying.
You, Gregory Osco, our own NRC chairman, said it.
What I'm saying is, nobody wants war. I don't want war. I don't want my kids to die. And what we're saying is that this dictator has to stop. If you don't stop him by this chemical, next thing is Iran. You see that we are weak. We are paying the price for being a super America. We have to maintain it. If you want to sit back, that's fine. We degrade ourselves from a superpower to the next level, to the next level. So it's our choice. And I applaud Senator McCain for his stand.
Thank you. There's a gentleman in the back that's been going crazy for the last half hour, so
Why not?
he wants to record this important response that I have for him.
That's right.
I get close to the camera so you can.
You're good.
Please go ahead.
The question is this: how, two-parter, how is amnesty not going to bring about a civil war in this country when it brings in 50 million over 10 years? And how is getting involved in Syria not possibly going to start World War III? And that'll be on Obama. It ain't going to be on me. Hope it's not on you.
Thank you.
Here, here.
First of all, I don't think honestly that you're looking at 50 million people, but I do believe that we're looking at a situation where there's 11 million people who are not going to leave. You say there's more than that, all I can do is rely on government figures, but
Don't trust those. They've never worked before.
no matter how many there are, they're living in the shadows in this country. No one here can give me a rational argument as to how we'd round up all these people and send them back to where they came from.
It's been done before.
No, it's not been done before.
Eisenhower.
It has never been done before. And so, let me finish now. Okay, I let you finish your comment. And so I think that we should at least agree that we need to look at this issue and we need to somehow work our way through it. And if you have a way, you know something, pal, I'm a little tired of you yelling, okay? I will recognize you if you will be polite and respectful to everybody, okay? You won't be?
I said, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
But
Okay.
let
Just
me say
wait
one
just a
thing.
minute until I finish answering his question, will
I'll
you?
have to apply for medical care.
Adios. Go ahead, so,
I mean, the follow-up is
adios.
basically,
So, and I don't believe it's World War III, but I believe that World War II began
U.S.
when-
Supreme Court decision, Texas versus Hill, says that you cannot take away the freedom of speech of
I
someone.
believe that World War II began because we ignored people like Hitler and Mussolini and the Japanese and others who were committing unspeakable atrocities while we turned our heads. And then we ended up with 6 million Jews being incinerated with the same kinds of gas that is now being sprayed on to innocent Syrian people. And anybody who saw those pictures, and I know you did, of those children stacked up, those dead bodies, my friends, you have got to be moved by this. Now, you may be against American involvement, but you can't help but break your heart when you see the bodies of innocent people stacked up who have been murdered by a guy who's a mass murderer. So my answer to you is, there will not be a single American at risk at any time if we give the weapons to the people who are fighting for freedom. That's my answer to you.
Okay.
And I don't expect
my
you to
rebuttal
accept
is
it.
this.
Now, but because you've been so patient, go ahead and you respond.
Okay. You and I both come from long military lines.
Right.
I say this, if we're going to fight a war, we fight to win. That means total warfare, not this baby steps, because that drags you in and makes you look weak. If you're going to do it, you do it like a grizzly bear, period, or you don't do it. We've been playing this game since after World War II, and too many people in my family are buried in Culpeper. Too many in my family are buried in Arlington. So if you're going to do it, you do it right. And smack some people around the Senate, whatever. You either go or you don't. I prefer don't.
I thank you, my friend, and I want to thank you for your family service to the country, and I thank you for yours. Yes, ma'am.